Hi guys, welcome to our daily encounter. In Romans chapter 15 and verse 4, we have some benefits that comes from God's word. It says there, for whatever was written in earlier times was written for our instruction, so that through perseverance and the encouragement of the scriptures, we might have hope. The things that were written beforehand, in all likelihood, what Paul is talking about is the Old Testament, but we could even say the same now that we have things that were written in earlier times in the New Testament. The scriptures as a whole are written for our instruction. That is to teach us some things. And it says, so that through perseverance and the encouragement of the scriptures, we might have hope. If you think about it, when it comes to the spiritual life, when it comes to living a life of devotion and commitment to Christ and the steadfastness that we need in doing so, God's word is a wonderful asset. Through God's word, we read about people who've gone before us, who persevered in their faith. We could go to Hebrews chapter 11, the hall of faith, as it's called. And as the Hebrew writer goes through it, and he talks about all the people who persevered through faith and were committed to God and obeyed the Lord because of the faith that they had. That helps us to know that we too can persevere, that we too can make it through trials just as they made it through trials. And then also the scriptures are an encouragement for us as we read about the promises that God has given us. And when we read about the way that God worked in those individuals who persevered and how God worked in their lives and strengthened them and helped them through the difficulties that they faced, it gives us hope. It gives us hope for the future, but it also gives us hope for the present. That one, we could get through the trials, and two, that God will be there for us to help us through the trials. And that this ultimately will give us hope for today, but also hope for tomorrow. And knowing that as we see God was faithful to his promises before, he will also be faithful to his promises now. And we can trust in the Lord to help us through the difficulties and the trials. And when we trust in the Lord through these things, then we persevere. So God's word has a lot of benefits for us. It does instruct us in how to live and how to conduct our lives, yes, but it's so much more. And it helps us to keep on keeping on as we go through this life that is often riddled with difficulty and challenges. So this ought to cause us to want to all the more be committed to God's word, to be in God's word each and every day, and to read from God's word and to reap the benefits that come from keeping God's word close at hand. So these are some things we can reflect on and think about as we do our reading today. With that, guys, I do thank you for watching the video today. Hope you guys have a great day. Love you guys. God bless.